Hello and welcome. My name is Tristan, and I'm going to be playing the 1710 scenario of John Company Second Edition solo. There's been some folks who have showed interest in seeing somebody post a playthrough of the solo game now that the Tabletop Simulator mod is nearing completion and the solo assets have all been added, and the solo game is pretty much near complete as well. There's just small tweaks here and there that are being made for the game at large, which are affecting the solo game in a few places, like if a new law is created or different things like that. But for the most part, I think this is like 98, 99% complete at this point. So I figured I would do a playthrough today of the base scenario and show people what it's like to play against the Crown AI. So within Tabletop Simulator, bottom left, you're going to find everything that you need to play against the Crown. You're going to have the Crown Handbook, which is going to be the book that you will be going through every round to determine what the behavior of the Crown is going to be. You're going to have the Crown board, the AI deck, her climate marker, and then you're going to have 12 promise tokens that are going to be split between you and the crown, and this is going to be how you're going to negotiate with the AI, because John Company is a negotiation game, and it's kind of hard to negotiate when you're playing by yourself. Ricky Royal created a very clever but very simple system of promise tokens that are exchanged in order to gain actions and change the decisions that are being made by the crown. You can earn them if you do favors for the crown, and it's a way for you to have a kind of interaction with the AI and be able to convince them to do things that you might want them to do, but you're going to have to also bend over and do things that are going to benefit them maybe more than you in order to retain the proper amount of promises so that you can continue to haggle your way through. If left to her own devices, the crown typically will run the company into the ground. So you need to try to have promises on hand to stop her from making really dumb decisions. Because sometimes she doesn't care what's best for the company. She cares about what makes her look good. Like, man, look at all these ships I've got. Isn't that really cool? No, they're all in Madras and we don't have ships elsewhere. That's not helpful. So what you're going to do is, let me actually clear out some space here. I'm going to play the Hastings family. We're going to have the crown up here. We'll get our promises set up. And then for this playthrough, what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to make it so that the crown handbook can be stuck in my hand. And then this way, it'll just be down here for me to jump into as we play through, and then I can throw it up on the screen and we'll take things a step at a time. So that should hopefully make it easy to follow. So with the crown setup, what you're going to do, and we'll do my family disc there. I don't need these. Bloop. The family pieces that the crown are going to use are going to equal 2 players worth. Essentially, when you're playing a solo game against the crown, you're kind of getting a 3-player game. So what you're going to do is you're just going to gather all of the pieces from 2 different families, and then we'll decide that the crown is purple. That seems appropriate. And you'll get your player area set up however you see fit to play the game. I'm just going to lock things in place, make life easy. You're going to have 6 promise cubes for the crown and 6 promises for yourself. And then we don't need this bag no more. And then you'll have the AI deck, which you will shuffle up and flip the top card. Now, when you're going through this setup, there's a few different difficulties that you can actually do depending on what mood you're in. And the difficulties are, as shown here at the end of the main rulebook, this is going to mainly be a differential of how many promises you're going to have compared to the crown. And if you want to play expert, the crown will have a few extra setup cards that really are just going to give her even more money and power than she really needs. But the standard easy mode is that you'll have 6 promises, and the crown will have 6 promises, but then the promissory notes that you would typically use to negotiate with folks in real life, real people, can kind of be aces that you keep in your back pocket. And if you at some point were drained of all of your promises and you were really in a hard spot, you could say, you know what, I'm going to basically throw away one of my free promise cards in my back pocket and take a promise card from the queen. That's the easy mode. The normal mode is just a standard 6 and 6, but these cards, they do not exist. And then the hard mode basically gives 4 more promises to the crown. And then, as I said, the expert mode will be the same as hard, where you'll only have a couple promises to start, but she's going to have even more stuff. So what you're going to do is, once you've got your play area set up for the crown, you're going to grab whatever scenario you're going to be playing. We're going to be doing 1710, and you're just going to take the 12 standard cards. Unless you're playing expert, you can take the extras. And typically you're going to do a draft. And so what you'll do is you're going to take 3 cards, and you're going to pick one of these cards. Let's say I want to be chairman, and then these cards go to the crown. And then you'll draw 3 more cards, and you'll say, well, I want to be prime minister, and then she gets 2 more. And you're going to do this a total of 4 times, so that you have a measly 4 starting offices, and she's going to have all of them, basically. Now, this is kind of interesting. I'm not necessarily going to play with this startup, because what you can also do, if you don't want to do the draft variant, well, I guess it's not the variant, that's the standard, is to draft. What I actually like to do is I like to randomize. I like to just throw all of these together and randomly distribute what my starting hand is going to be and give her the rest. And then we just see what kind of a hole I have to dig myself out of. So that's what we're going to do here, because I think it might be more fun. So let's see what we're messing with. Boop, boop. I think I started as... Okay. Cool beans. So we are going to get actually a decent amount of starting money. So that's actually pretty cool. And then I'm going to get to start with 1 share. And I'm going to be the president of Madras. And then that card is done. I'm going to get a ship in the west. And then that card is done. I'm going to get president and commander of Madras. Writer there, and we're good. And then we're going to do Bengal as well. So this is actually not a horrible start, though I don't have a whole lot going on for me within the company. I've just got a couple commanders and the presidency of Madras, so this could be a little tricksy. And then the crown is going to have all of this. So she's going to have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 bucks. This is actually the first time I think that I've started with more money than her. Kind of funny how that worked out. She's going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 shares, and she's going to be chairman. And what's nice about this is I've already divvied up all of my pieces, so I already know I can just fill in the gaps as far as all of the positions that I'm not, right? I already know that she's going to be taking trade and shipping and military affairs. She's going to run these 2 presidencies. I know that she's going to be the commander of Bombay, and that means that she's also going to have a writer in Bombay. And then we know that she is going to get the last 2 ships in the 1710 setup, which will be in the South and East Seas, which is not uncommon for her to start with more goodies overall. And then we also know that she's going to start as Prime Minister with a blackmail card, which we may never know. And we'll throw Prime Minister down here. And that is basically the setup for the crown and the AI. What we're going to do is we're going to get the board set up here. We're going to go up here and select the 1710 scenario, which is going to get our board all spruced up. I'll shuffle up our law deck, our event deck. I like to make the big scary India die big because it's menacing and terrifying. And I'm actually going to move these extra ships over here. I'm going to rearrange a few things here to make my life slightly easier. Make sure everything's locked down. Dice. All right. So let's divvy up all of our cards. So once again, we know I am the president of Madras, and that's it. And I am commanders otherwise, and then she is all of this, which is not super uncommon. All of the things. We'll give her the big chairman marker, even though I don't need to worry about remembering who the chairman is. We'll shuffle up our company failure cards. Good chance the company fails. In my experience, the company fails more often than not in the AI game. It really just depends on how much you can keep a grasp in the company. If there's a point in which you lose out on having positions and promises to coax the crown into doing things properly, things can kind of take a quick turn, especially after a few failed trades. And then we'll keep these guys nearby just in case we're going to do any of that stuff. And then we are good to go. So the way that the Crown AI book works is you're going to go from page 1 to page 12 or 13, however many pages are in here, throughout each turn. So what that's going to be is each page essentially hits each phase as we go along the ribbon of a turn. And it's going to give us all of the options that we have for interacting with the crown and what the crown is going to do based on her particular climate. The crown has these climates here, bullish, mousy, foxy, bearish, and peacock. And she is going to behave differently in each of her positions depending on what her climate or her kind of personality is. We are going to determine what her climate is to start by looking at the AI deck that we have here. And we can see that right now in this box, we're going to go off of what the crown treasury is going to determine which of these available climates she will be. And since she has between 8 and 16 pounds, she's going to start off as peacock. So we'll just put our little marker on peacock so that we know exactly what's going on. I'll go over some of the other items on this card as they come up. Mostly these are going to be utilized for tiebreakers. These first and seconds are going to help us determine if we have to choose between the presidencies. This hand is going to point either to the clockwise or counterclockwise circles, which we might have to use depending on what kind of tiebreaker. And then the bottom is going to have a different ordering of all the regions in India that, again, will be helping us determine what choice would be made if there are multiple choices there. Within the crown board, you're going to see that there's a list of favors that are essentially always available. They're only specifically available after the company share purchase step is complete, and you can't use them during Parliament or final scoring. But this is the kind of formatting you're going to see throughout the crown handbook. You're going to see plus and minuses of these promise cubes. These favors on the crown board are things that are just kind of always available to you to get some extra promises from the crown. You can see that you can give some shipyard enterprises. You'll get maybe a little bit more if it's fitted versus unfitted. You can give a crown a workshop. You can actually just pay the crown a straight $3 for some money. And then this is that in easy mode, you can throw out those promise cards to get a cube back. The Crown Handbook is going to be structured in a similar fashion. As you can see, you'll basically go through, and if I were to look and say, okay, well, here's the chairman, then I'm going to see, okay, well, what am I going to get to do if I'm the chairman? What is the crown going to do if she's the chairman? In what ways can I change or interact with the crown based on the decisions that I'm making, based on the decisions that she's making. There are some instances, like in like manager of shipping, for example. If I'm the manager of shipping, the crown will see it favorable if I fit her ships or if I place ships into any of her crown presidencies. And if I do that, she will give me a promise cube. You can see in these charts here, if say the crown was bullish and she were to go through and buy ships, she's not going to buy a company ship, but I could pay her a promise cube to convince her to buy a company ship. So this handbook is going to give you the specifics as to what the crown's going to do for each of the offices that she holds, and in what way you can manipulate that to ensure that things are going in a way that is most beneficial for the company or maybe you, because she doesn't always act favorably, other than just to do whatever she thinks works best for herself, and it's typically not the best. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go through this first round, and I'll be pretty detailed in looking at what's happening in the Crown Handbook, and then after after the first round, I'll go a little bit faster, going through, just so that the game can be played out. But that way, hopefully, after the first turn, you have a good feel as to what the flow of the game is. So we know that the Crown is going to be starting as the Peacock, and um, we have our positions laid out. I don't have a whole lot going on for me right now, which is fine. And we shall begin. So we're going to skip London season, obviously, for the first turn, and we're going to go to the family phase. So we can see here on this first page, we'll be completely skipping the vote for deregulation because we're not playing a scenario that allows for that. We will skip the London season for now, and we'll move to the right side of the page where we will do the family phase. Now, basically, this chart in the center here is going to be what we're going to utilize to determine what actions the crown is going to want to take. The crown always gets to take 2 actions on her family turn, and those are going to be dictated by what her climate is here. So if we look at as a peacock, she wants to first buy a workshop and then buy a luxury. And the reason that there's multiples here is that if for any reason she was not able to do any of these actions, you would just skip to the next available action, at which point she'll inevitably be able to do these actions near the end here, because it's just assigning writers and officers. A couple things that you'll have to consider, which might come up in the next round or two, are if there are 4 or more vacant offices, the crown will take a free action to enlist a writer. And then also, if there's a vacant presidency that doesn't have a crown writer, so like let's say I lose Madras on the next turn, this is a vacant presidency that does not have a crown writer. She will actually use one of her 2 actions to put a writer into this presidency so that she can have a straight line into that position. What's also worth noting, and it's stated at the very bottom under extra actions, is as laws are passed and we get laws that maybe allow for free family actions, she will use those as a part of her standard action. So, for example, if I had the law that allowed for a free workshop purchase as a family action, and we were to still have her as Peacock, she would be able to do the free action for her workshop here, and then she will still have her 2 actions to buy a luxury and then enlist a writer. So she'll basically include that free action into what she wants to do, which might allow her to do more than she was able to do before, um, versus taking her desired actions in the line and then doing an extra action. A good example of this, in a previous game I had, it was actually the crown was Peacock again, and she wanted to do a workshop and wanted to buy a luxury, but she didn't have enough money to do both of those things. So she was only going to really be able to buy a workshop, and then she was going to have to enlist a writer. However, the law that allowed for um, a workshop to be in place, um, well, that's not right. I don't remember. I think maybe it was she wanted to buy a couple workshops. Either way, whatever happened is she was able to use the free action to uh, get what she wouldn't have been able to get before, and then still get some additional actions that allowed her to um, basically get a little bit more out of her turn than she would have if she didn't consider that extra action first. Oh, I guess what it was is that she would have bought her workshop, she would have bought her luxury, and then she would have wanted to take the extra action to buy a second workshop, but she wouldn't have had enough money to do so. But in this instance, she basically used the extra action to take her first workshop buy, and then her first official action was to buy a luxury, and then her second action was to enlist a writer. So it essentially let her do more than she would have done. She would have only been able to buy a workshop and a luxury, and she would have missed out on the free action. But in this case, she was able to do 3 actions, which was pretty cool. So, sorry, I'm going to turn off my blah, blah, blah. All right. So we know that she is going to buy a workshop and she's going to buy a luxury. So we will do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the workshop. And then $4 for the luxury. We've got Crown already winning. This is pretty common. Way to go, Crown. I have to determine what I want to do. And I'm actually in an interesting position because I have a couple writers. I do have a presidency. I'm going to have to convince her maybe to open this up, or I'm going to have to... I am luckily the commander here, and maybe I can open it up. She is military affairs, though, which means I'm going to have to convince her to not steal things from me. That could be annoying. I'm going to see what happens if we lean into the military a little bit, since I have some presence here. So we're gonna enlist an officer for my family action. That's what we're gonna do. All right. So we finished the family action. We'll skip the firm phase because we're again not playing a scenario with firms, and we'll skip all of this hiring madness until the next round when we will likely have some positions. So we're going to go into chairman. You'll notice that as the chairman, if I were the chairman, I would be bled a single promise token every turn that I held that office. Luckily, the crown is that chairman, so I don't have to worry about that. But there are a couple instances in which you are forced to pay promises, or you will essentially have no choice but to receive promises based on different things. So in this case, if the human player was a chairman, I would have to pay her a promise token if I have it. It's an interesting little bit of tension there that you have to try to maintain. In this case, the crown is the chairman, though. So we'll notice halfway down the page, it says, before the crown acts, we're going to flip a new AI card and set the climate on the crown family board as per the revealed AI card. And then she's going to take a specific amount of debt depending on which climate she is. This is actually a newer change to the game. It used to be that at Parliament, the AI deck would flip and then you would have the same climate from that point on. But in order to have a little bit more of a fluctuating crown and not exactly knowing what she's going to do and where she's at, the AI card will actually flip either before or after the chairman acts, depending on who is chairman. So if I was the chairman, I would actually allocate all of my funds and do all of that stuff, and then we would flip the card to see what her climate is, which might put a damper on my plans because I can't allocate funds in a way that might be beneficial depending on me knowing how she's going to act. In this case, she's chairman, so she's going to act first. So we will flip a new AI card, and we're going to look at how many crown commanders are there. And we know that there are 1 crown commanders, which means she is going to be bearish. Okay, that could be interesting. So looking at this, the bear crown is going to seek a debt for each presidency where crown is commander or has a majority of total army pieces. This is not a great way to start the game. So she's only going to seek one debt. She only wants to move this marker 1, which gives us $10. That's probably not great. We probably want to get this company rolling a little bit. We don't have a ton of money, so that's maybe worrisome. But you'll notice what I can do is I could pay a couple promises to ask her to move the debt one more time. And then with the bear, I could actually, if she were to take out too much, I could spend a promise to have her take out one less. And you can basically pay these amounts as much as you want. If I want to have her seek 3 debt total more than what she's done now, I could spend all 6 of my tokens and she will do that. I don't want to spend all of my tokens though. So that's lame. So the bear, I think if I remember right, bear is typically pretty military happy, which is not great. Let's take a look real quick and see how the bear is going to allocate funds here. So she's going to want $4 to each presidency where the crown has a majority of pieces in the army box. So we know that she's going to put $4 into Bombay. And then she wants to put $2 into each presidency where the crown has a governor. We don't have any governors. And then $2 to each presidency where the crown has a writer, which is only Bombay. So she wants to throw all of this money into Bombay, and then anything left over would go into shipping. And we've only got $10 right now. So we know she's basically going to spend $6, all of it going into Bombay, and then $4 into shipping. You know what? I think I can make this work. Maybe. Here's what we're going to do. And this works, I think, in a couple ways. So we're going to let her just take the one debt. I think we can work with $10. It's going to be tight. You'll notice here at the bottom it says that at any point before each of these steps where we're allocating to an office, I can spend a promise to request $3 or less be put into a specific location. And I'm going to do that. So before we even start, I'm going to pay her a promise, and I'm going to say, give me $2. Okay? I'm going to have her give me $2. I think that's probably about right. Then we're going to let her do her $4 to each presidency where the crown has a majority of pieces in the army box. That's going to be $4 to Bombay. One, 2, 3, 4. We go down to 4. And then we know that she's going to put $2 to each presidency where the crown has a governor. We don't have any governors. $2 to each presidency where the crown has a writer. This is the only one. 1, 2. We've got $2 left. And then the rest of this money is going to go to shipping. So the last $2 goes to shipping. I kind of wanted... No, you know what? I think that might work. We're gonna stick it there. I'm gonna see if I can. I'm gonna have to really utilize my promises to move things where I want them, but we're gonna see if that'll work. So the chairman just acted. We're gonna move on to director of trade. So we can see here, middle of the page, if the crown is director of trade, she's gonna want to take a special envoy action using exactly $3. She has $3, so she will do that. Now the crown is going to want to do a special envoy based off of the bottom of this AI card. So we are going to look at what regions are to the far left that would allow for a special envoy that she'd be able to do a special envoy within. And we can see that she wants to go to I believe that's the symbology hasn't been completely updated, but I believe that's Delhi. But we can't do a special envoy up there, so that's not going to work. Basically, we're only going to be able to do a special envoy between these 3 because they're company controlled or they're home regions. No, I'm sorry. I'm screwing up how the director of trade works. I'm such a liar. Yeah, she wants to open up She wants to do a special envoy in Delhi. I don't want her to do a special envoy in Delhi. I don't think. I mean, I don't think that that's very helpful. What I'd actually prefer is I want my presidency to be opened. And I think what I'd like. Do I want her to open this order, or do I want her to just open up Hyderabad straight up? That is the question. Well, I'm not against the company or anything right now, even though I'm barely in it. I think what we're going to do, we're going to open up Hyderabad. That's what we're going to do. So what I'm actually going to do is I am going to target a specific order. So you can see here, I would have the option to spend a promise to have her spend more or less money for the special envoy. I'm going to let her spend all $3, but I'm going to spend a promise to target a specific order. And instead of her opening up Delhi, I want her to open up Hyderabad. So we will have her spend. And let's see if we can open up. Looks good. All right, we got Hyderabad opened up. I think that should be good for me. I think we can make this work here. Now, here's a tricky thing. Now, the Crown, as Director of Trade, is going to make 2 transfers. Now, I can spend a promise to prevent any of these transfers from happening, and it will count as one of her 2 transfers. I can spend 2 promise cubes to basically just make a transfer of my choice. What we're going to do is we're going to see what does the bear want to do. So the bear is going to want to move a ship from a player's presidency to a crown presidency. I really don't want that. And she's going to want to move a crown rider from the presidency with the fewest ships to a presidency with the most. And she's going to want a crown rider from player presidency to a crown presidency. So really this first one, I have to stop because I can't have her take my ship. So her first action, her first trade is going to be a ship from player presidency to crown presidency. This is the only presidency that's a player presidency. She would take this and she would move it into one of these. And to determine which one she would move it to, we would look here and we'd see first says Madras, but I am Madras. So second would be Bengal. So she would want to move this ship into Bengal. I am going to spend a promise to tell her no, please don't do that. And she says, all right, fine. And then she's going to move on to number 2, a crown rider from presidency with the fewest ships to presidency with the most ships. Well, there's only this one crown rider, and this is even. We got 3, so that doesn't matter. A crown rider from a player presidency to a crown presidency. Well, there's no crown riders in my presidency, so she's just going to chill. So she's actually done. I had to spend 1 promise to stop her from doing the 1 transfer she wanted to do. And then we reached the bottom of the page. So we're done with her acting as Director of Trade. Not too bad. I have 3 promises left. I know for a fact I'm going to need to spend 1 or 2 of these probably to make sure that the ships that she buys will go somewhere useful. Let's see what she's going to do as shipping. So, first, the Crown will fit as many of their ships as possible, and then player ships. None of our ships need fitted. We're all good there. And then the bear will buy 1 company ship if able. And if I wanted to spend a promise, I could make it so she does not buy a company ship. There's only $5 in shipping. So that's going to spend all of our money to get a company ship. That's not super great, but I think I have to be a little selfish and focus on what I can do best for my presidency, knowing that we're at least going to have the ability for single trades in these other spots. So I'm not going to spend a promise to convince her otherwise. I'm going to let her spend all $5 to buy a ship. Go for it. Then, if there was any extra money left, she would spend it all on leasing extra ships. And then we're going to look at where she's going to place them. The bear is going to place all of the ships that she fit, bought, or leased this turn in the presidency's sea zone with the highest number of crown riders, which obviously means she wants to place this company ship here in the west. That makes sense. But at the very bottom of this page, you can see that I can fit the ship, or convince the crown basically to place the ship in a sea zone of my choice. I'm going to do it. I'm going to spend another promise, and I'm going to say, why don't we throw this in Madras? I feel like that's a better play. And it really is. I mean, it's way more money. So that's what we're going to do. Thank you, Manager of Shipping. Moving on to military affairs. So the crown is going to want to perform 2 officer transfers. And I, again, have the ability to pay promises to stop her from doing this, or to specifically move things as I wish. Otherwise, she is going to base it off of the little chart here, which says that the bear wants to move something from a presidency where the player is a commander to a presidency where the crown is commander. Yes, of course you do. And so the transfer priority is always going to be regiments, then crown offices, then player officers. And so basically, she wants to take the regiments from, is it presidency? Is the presidency where a player is a commander? Yeah. So she wants to take the pieces from these army boxes and move them into her army boxes. And I mean, she's got the 2 transfers, and I don't know if I mean, I am commanders, but I can't do anything if I don't have these pieces. I'm going to let it happen right now. I'm just going to let it happen. So that's going to be the 2 transfers. She's going to take those 2 regiments, throw them up into Bombay. And then she's going to assign officer. I have an officer. I guess I don't necessarily have a preference as to where this person goes. For the bear, she's going to move this dude into a presidency that creates a crown majority, and then to a presidency that creates a crown equality with the player holding a majority of pieces, and then a presidency that does not lose a crown majority, and then a presidency where the crown is governor, and then a presidency where the crown is commander, and then a crown presidency, and then the presidency with the most ships, and then we'll break ties with the black and white arrows. So in this case, my one dude, she'll first consider putting it in a presidency that creates a crown majority. Well, there's no way to make a crown majority with moving this particular piece. I mean, I guess this would be a crown majority moving it here. So I think that actually is the proper transfer to go. Otherwise, the next step would be a presidency that creates a crown equality with the player holding a majority of pieces. And I guess this is kind of this would make that equality too. So she's gonna take him into Bombay. I hope you do something good. I hope you do something good with it. Whatever, man. So we're gonna move over to Bombay. Within the latest rule set, the president gets to decide the order of operations for the commanders and governors within their presidency. The crown, as you can see with presidency operations, is always going to have the governors go first and then the commanders, and then I can spend a promise if I want to move things around and decide, you know what, actually, let's have you trade first, and then the governor can go, and then the commander, or whatever, whatever we want to do. I can make a change in the order of the presidential operations there. But I'm going to let them do what they're going to do, and we'll let the commanders go first for Bombay. And we can see here that the bear, if the crown is commander, the bear is going to attempt to purchase the most expensive affordable local alliance if their strength is 2+. So we know that we just put 3 regiments and an officer in Bombay. Definitely has a strength of 2+. So they are going to try to buy the most expensive affordable local alliance. I could convince them via a single promise cube to purchase an additional local alliance of my choice. If I wanted, we could just really go all in on whatever deploy action the Crown is planning to do right now. And I could also spend a promise to convince her maybe spend less money on that local alliance. And then if I wanted to, if the Crown has the presidency, um, the Crown will not purchase a local alliance. I can basically say, hey, don't do it. Just skip this, please. But you know what? She's got a bunch of money. I don't really care. She's gonna spend all $5 on the Rajasthan here. Let's do it. I hope you're gonna do something good with it. I mean, really, it's just gonna be fighting for Bombay. But either way, so that's the local alliance purchase, and then we will move on down, and she is going to take a deploy action in the presidency's home region if not company controlled. And then there's a list of items that we would go through from there, but we'll skip that, and we know that this is where she's going to want to deploy, is in Bombay. So the Crown commander will exhaust all available local alliances, and then Crown officers, and then player officers, and then regiments in order to get the exact number of dice to roll. She wants to roll as the bear 3 dice right now because it's a non-company controlled region. So we know we're doing a deploy action in Bombay. This is going to give us a Bombay governor. This is going to open this closed order. And we know because this is a strength of 1 that she's going to have to exhaust. What did she want? She wanted 3 dice. She's going to have to exhaust a total of 4 to be able to roll 3 dice. So she's first. This is kind of, actually, she doesn't have a crown officer, so that's good. So she's going to exhaust the Rajasthan, which is going to give her 3. So currently a roll of 2. And then she would do crown officers next. She doesn't have any, so then she's going to do player officers. So, hey, I might actually get some loot monies. That could be good. And then right now we're at a total of 4. And -1 is 3. And she just wants to roll 3. So we'll leave these dudes up here. That actually could be decent. As you can see, if I wanted to spend a promise cube, I can increase or decrease the required number of dice by 1. So I could spend as many promise cubes as I have to convince her to roll down to 1 dice, or to require her to have to roll a lot of dice. And then I can also spend a number of pieces to basically rearrange which pieces were exhausted. If I really didn't want my officers to be put into the fight, I was really worried about them or whatnot, I could say, you know what, I'm going to spend a promise cube, and instead of my dude, why don't we throw in a regiment or whatever. So this is what's going to happen. We're going to roll 3 for a deploy action in Bombay. We're good. I was thrown off by the dice slowly falling. All right, so we successfully took over Bombay. I guess actually I should have all of the governor pieces here. Put the Bombay governor overlay there, and then this order is open, which is great. And then because it was 1 tower level, that's $4, plus this loot is another $4. So there's $8 total of loot. And we know that it's basically going to be 1 to the crown, 1 to me, 1 to the local alliance, so we're at 3, and then it's going to be 4, 5, 6, and then it's going to be 7 and 8 to each of us. So not too shabby. I'm feeling pretty good. It's very rare that I have like way more money than the crown, so that's pretty good. And then we're going to have a governor of Bombay that will be an available vacancy going into the next turn. And now that the commander has successfully acted, we're going to have the president roll. So let's see, what is the bear president going to do? The crown will spend the necessary funds to roll exactly 5 dice. So based on the bear, crown really wants to ensure that they can roll for trade, and the crown only has $4. So spending all of that money for the local alliance to take Bombay, they decided, you know what, that was more important than trading. So she's not going to. Now, I can increase or decrease the required number of dice that she would want to trade. So what I could actually do is spend one of my promises to have her trade, because then she would only want to roll 4 dice, and then we could potentially get $4 for the company. And again, I'm not necessarily against the company, so I should probably do that. I have to look at this though. Bengal, she's not going to roll there. This is tough because I have a writer there and I could get money off of that. But I have to spend both of my promises. I think I might. Well, but I'm okay with money right now. You know what? I'm gonna let it slide right now. I think I might end up spending my promises in Bengal because it's a couple extra bucks, and I can potentially get $1 out of it. Whether or not that's a good plan, that's what I'm gonna do. So she done. We move on to me. I don't have anything to do here, so we're just gonna roll. And I've got 2 ships. I definitely want to go up into Hyderabad, and so I think what we're gonna do is I'm gonna roll 3 dice. I'll spend $4 to go into the other region. We're good. We did it. So that's going to give me 1, 2, 3 monies, which is pretty great. We get $12 for the company. And we move on. See, I'm efficient. Crown. And then again, the crown would say, hey, Commander, you're allowed to go. I don't have anything that I can do. So we're just going to move on to her. And we know that she, again, is only going to roll if she can spend at least 5 dice, and she can't. I think for the sake, the company might actually be okay without this, but I'm going to make a potentially sketchy judgment call. And I'm going to spend my last 2 promises, which is going to reduce her requirement to roll 5 dice down to 3. And she's going to roll 3 dice to trade in Bengal. And we got it. So my writer, we get another $6. She's going to get $1 for her 1 trade. I'm going to get $1 for my writer. This was probably the good call. We don't have China, so we're going to go to bonuses. And she has got 1, 2, 3. I've got 1. Doing all right, doing all right. And then we'll go to revenue. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Only 9, actually. Going from 18 to 9. Not too bad. However, we are 1 short of standing. We need to hit 10, and we're 1 short. So our company's standing is actually going to go down. So it was good that I spent the extra money, I think, to get some extra cash here. And then because we're at the revenue stage, we have to consider, does the Crown, as chairman, want to pay out dividends? And we can see here that the Crown will try to pay 1 dividend minimum, and then more if she's able to leave, at least, in this case, with the bear climate, $6. And she could do that, right? It's going to be 1 single payout is 6. And then she wouldn't be able to do another one. I mean, I don't have any promises, but I could, if I had promises, convince her to pay out 1 less dividend. In this case, that would be 0. But because I spent those promises for Bengal, I am starved of any kind of leverage that I have over the Crown, and she's going to do her own thing. So she's going to pay out a dividend, which is going to give her $5. It's going to give me 1. That puts me in a pretty good position. And then that's a total of 6. It's not horrible. Unfortunately, it was not more than what our company standing is at, so we are not pushing ourselves up. But that's okay. And then we're going to move on to the events in India. We'll roll a big, scary India die. Okay. Well, it's all right. So we're going to roll for each of these bad boys. I only have one ship here, so that's not super great. So the Constant Friend, which is owned by her, stays alive. The Britannia, which is owned by her, gets nuked. The company ships are invulnerable, so we don't have to worry about them. And then my ship, the Atlas, got nuked. This is not super good. But then we're only going to have one event in India, so that could be good. And we're going to resolve a crisis. So we're going to see that Maratha, with a strength of 2, is going to go against the capital in Delhi, which is a strength of 1, plus Punjab, which is 0. So this is a victory. Maratha has gained its independence. It is no longer dominated. And then all of these orders here are going to be closed out. And then we are going to be moving to Bombay, which is super bad because we just took Bombay. So now we know we're going to need to keep our defenses up to fight. Oh, I totally forgot, actually. The crown is going to get a trophy, get a power for that successful deploy action, because it's a trophy per tower level. We got it. We're good. Now we're going to go to the Parliament phase, and the crown is the PM. And so what happens with Parliament is, first of all, the crown is always going to just go all in on her position for a proposed law. She's going to be totally against or totally for it. And she's going to use all of her available enterprises, and she's going to get bonus votes based on the size of her treasury. So you can see here, if she's got 0 to 3 pounds, it's nothing. 4 to 6 is a vote. 7 to 10 is 2. 11 to 14 is 3. 15 plus is 4 votes. She doesn't have to spend that money or anything. Those are just bonus votes that she just throws on top of whatever she's doing. So it can be a little tricky to get things to go in a particular way if you are opposing the crown, because she has a lot of power in her voting, which makes sense because it's the crown. So in this situation, if I were the prime minister, you would see that we would have a climate shift. The climate shift is, instead of flipping a new AI card, we're going to roll some dice, and we're going to see if the climate is going to shift to the left or to the right of where it's at now. And that's going to be based off of the company's standing. So what we're going to do is we're going to roll 7 dice, and we're going to look at how many successes and failures we get. So we have 1, 2 successes, 1, 2, 3 failures. We don't look at these. And then basically, if the number of successes is greater or equal to company standing, which basically runs from 0 to 7, where failure is 0, right? So this would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So right now we're at 3. If I had rolled successes greater than or equal to, this would have shifted to the right, and she would have become Peacock. And then we would look at the number of failures, and if the number of failures is less than the company standing, the climate would shift to the left. Since our company standing currently is 3, this is equal to that, so it would not shift to the left. In this case, it's not shifting at all. We didn't have enough to shift it to the right, and this wasn't enough to shift it to the left, so the crown is actually going to remain bearish, which is fine, probably. I don't know. So now, because she's the prime minister, she is going to have to pick votes. How is this going to work? Well, we're going to look at the 3 little card slots here at the top of the AI card. And we can see that the 3rd is highlighted. Now, this is used in 2 situations. One is to know which card she's going to pick from the London display, after retirements, and the other is to know which card she is, or which law she is going to propose. In this situation, this would be considered the third law, which means she is going to reveal up to 3 laws, with the third one being the one that she will propose. Of course, if at any point one of those cards ends up being a dilemma, she's just going to stop and have to do that one. What we can do here is we can, with a couple promises, stop the crown from drawing any more cards and just picking the one that was recently drawn. Or if, say, we had a card where the far left position was highlighted, which would mean the very first law that's drawn is the one that the crown's going to propose, we could spend 2 promises to have the law draw, or have the crown draw another law instead. So if you've got some promises in Parliament, you can kind of convince the crown to keep going, maybe do this one, not that one, kind of a deal. At this point, I got nothing. So we're just going to be doing whatever the crown wants. So let's see what's going to happen here. So this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. So she's going for company aids government. Each company debt now costs £2 during expenses, and we have to advance the values of company shares if possible from 1 to 2. This is going to be a power policy. And we can see here that the close power policy is going to be on shipyards and on luxuries. Now, this is the one thing that can be a little tricky, is that the policy marker movement priority is a little bit of a math quiz that you have to take. And basically what you're going to do is that you need to compare the 2 policies that are the available options and see which one is basically more beneficial for the crown. So typically what you would do is you would look at what the affected entities are, right? So like in this case, it's either shifting to shipyards or it's either shifting to power. And you're going to basically look at how much does she have of those versus how much do I have of those. And you're going to look at the difference, and you're going to see if one of these policies has a higher number than the other. So for example, if we were to move the policy to shipyards, she has 2 shipyards and I have 1. That difference is 1, right? Let's see here. Yeah. And then if we were to do luxuries, she's got 1 and I have 0, which is 1. So we're kind of tied on that position. Let's see. Break ties using the AI card clockwise or counterclockwise. Yeah. All right. So yeah, basically both of these positions are pretty equal for her because shifting the power on these is pretty good, and she's got more of them, both of them, than I do. So we're going to go to the tiebreaker on the card here. This hand is pointing to the clockwise arrow, so we are going to go whoop clockwise to power on shipyards. So if this law passes, we are going to shift shipyards up to where shares are, which is actually not super beneficial to the crown because she'll lose a lot of power that she has here in her shares, but I'm not going to argue with it. And then we have to look at company aids government is a +1. Now here's the thing. Does the crown even want to pass company aids government? Well, let's check it out here. Company aids government. We know that the crown climate is still bearish. And we can see company aids government is the 4th from the top. The crown is for it. She wants to do it. So basically what's going to happen is, because she has $13, we can see the 11 to 14 pound area is +3 votes. This is automatically going to get 3 votes. And then we know she's got 2, 3, 4 votes from her enterprises. 1, 2, 3, 4. This vote's at an 8. I have no way to fight this unless I want to spend a ton of money. And I think I'm actually fine with this because this policy shift does reduce her power from the shares shifting and potentially allows me a little bit of a better position to get some more power through shipyards as well. Now, there's probably going to be a point in which I'm going to want to try to snipe the prime minister from her, at least just for the power, because I really need to win the power award. In the solo game, the power award is only given to first place, so it's kind of a big deal. I'm going to let it go. I'm going to say sure. Let's pass company aids government. It goes through. She is going to get a passed law token for that going through, and we are going to enact the policy, which is going to move. Oh goodness. Which is going to move shipyards up to being 1 power and shares not being worth any power. And that's Parliament. And now we go to Upkeep and Refresh. Now, this is handled totally normal, but you'll notice at the very bottom, right above where it says Game End, there's a potential chance for the solo player to gain what I call sympathy cubes, sympathy promises. What happens here is if you have 1 or more riders in a crown presidency, but you don't have any riders coming back from having filled orders, you'll get a promise from the crown. So, like, for example, let's say that I had a rider here and she never traded. So I don't have my rider coming back from this spot. This is just sitting here. I would get a promise as like a sympathy for, hey, sorry that didn't work out. In this case, though, that isn't happening. I actually have riders coming back. Things kind of worked out the way that they did, so we're all good there. So we're going to do a quick refresh here. Move everybody back up. I think everything is good here. There is no upkeep that we need to pay yet because we haven't retired anybody. But now we are in the London season. And now we go back to the first page and we will look at the London season. So at the start of this phase, before we go through the retirement process, I can actually spend a couple of my promises to get a pound from the crown. And anybody that has played this game knows that you're always just like 1 or 2 pounds shy of what you really need. So this is kind of helpful. I'm feeling pretty good with my $20, though she came back up pretty quick. I'm not gonna do anything because I can't. But we will move on to rolling for retirement. So let's see if the crown is gonna have a bunch of folks croak or not. I got 1. I'm good. Okay, fair enough. So we have a few fatigues here. We got the DOT, military affairs, the president of Bengal. Manager of shipping is Spry. And we are going to be losing the Bombay president and the chairman, though, spoiler alert, pretty sure we know who is going to be chairman again in just a moment. And then my president is actually still alive, which is actually okay because I have a lot of money and I might just be able to keep storing it up for a big retirement, but also I need victory points, so not sure what to do about that. Any hoozles. So we lost the chairman and we lost the president of Bombay. That's it. Those are the only retirements that are going on this round. So I am not retiring. The crown is retiring, and the way that the crown retirement works is she is going to retire to the highest VP spot that is up to half of what her treasury is rounded up. So in this case, we look at $13. We'll call it 14. Rounded to half is 7. Not quite enough for the $8 spot. She's not gonna She's not going to chance that. So she's actually going to go to the 4 spot. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's going to give her 2 more victory points. And then we can see here that 9 divided by 2 is definitely going to be enough for her to be convinced to drop another retirement in the 4 spot, which gives her 2 VP. The crown will never retire to the 2 spot, but she's not just going to dump the max amount of money into whatever is the largest retirement. She's always going to consider what is half of my treasury, and then what is that rounded up going to basically afford me. She's going to be a little bit more conscious about it. The only time that she'll dump all of her cash into a retirement is at the very end of the game, and during the final retirement. She might throw down hard if she's got a lot of money, which can be devastating. But right now, I'm doing pretty good at 0 and her at 6, so this game's going great. We look at this card and we know that she wants to grab the 3rd card in the London display, so she is going to grab Esther Summerson, which is going to give her another 2 victory points. Now, it should be noted that the crown, she's not going to utilize or be penalized by any of the spouse abilities. So this -1 pound, which is a retirement bonus she can basically use to make a retirement cheaper, she's not going to do it ever. And then in this case, where she would actually have to get rid of her blackmail cards and not be allowed to have any more, that doesn't affect her. So she's actually going to keep her blackmail card, which she does have. And we don't know what this is, but I know that it's probably going to be at least 2 power adding to her madness here. And then we will fill a new London display. I probably need that Scottish castle to stay in the power race. But that's the London season. I don't have any retirements. It's very sad. So now we'll move on to family phase. And we're still bearish. She, as bear, wants to put an officer. And she wants to buy a luxury, which she can't afford. I really don't need her doing this. This is probably the worst gap I've actually had in a game. This is really bad. This is really rough. Okay. We don't have an open presidency that doesn't have a crown rider, so she's not going to take one of her actions to fill that spot. And then we only have 3 positions open, so she's not going to take that free rider enlist action. So we're good here. And then I have to determine, am I doubling down on officer enlistment and seeing if maybe I can get some good money and victory and power from doing some stuff, or I'm really concerned. I'm really concerned about my lack of I don't know what to do. She has so much power because her luxuries are 2 each, and now the shipyards are worth 1. And she's the prime minister, and she's got the 2 from the trophy in the past law, plus the blackmail is going to be something likely. So she's rocking 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 minimum, and I've got 1. This is bad. A part of me wants to spend a few bucks on a luxury just to get some points on the board. But man, my commanders aren't going to be doing anything. I think I'm going to do it. We're going to... Yeah, I think we're going to do it. Let's do it. Let's buy a luxury. I need the points. I need to start accumulating some power. It doesn't feel great, but it is what it is. So now we're going to move on to hiring. So basically at this point, once we had taken care of shares, there's a couple of opportunities here. One is that I can actually buy some promises off of the crown for $1 if she has the majority of company shares, which she does. And a part of me thinks maybe I should actually buy some promises from her and see if I can shift the tides. What you can also do is you can either take a share from the crown or give a share to the crown. Like if I wanted to just bounce, I don't want to be involved in this. I'm actually super anti-company and I'm going to get out of Dodge. I could give her 3 promise tokens and my share. But I don't want to do that, and I can't do it because I don't have the promises. But I think I'm going to take advantage of her having the majority here. I am going to spend... I'm going to spend $4 for 4 promises because I'm pretty sure I'm going to get a couple more promises due to my... you're forced to allow her hiring of nepotism unless you want to spend a lot of promises to convince her otherwise. So I think that's what we're going to do. We know that the chairman is going to go to her. That's not even a question. And you can see here, so during the chairman election, if the crown has the majority of shares or an equality and is former chairman, they're going to elect themselves as the new chairman. I can spend cubes to convince her otherwise. If I have the majority of shares and I decide to give her the chairman position instead, I could get 3 promises from her. And then when I'm hiring, I can have the crown consent to my nepotism for a couple, or if I hire a crown family over my eligible family members, I would get a promise cube from her, which is great. One thing though that is super good about this is when the crown hires, she's always going to go for her own family, and I have to give consent for nepotism if she has at least 2 or more promises. And she does. And so she, well, I guess for the crown, that's not nepotism. But in this next case with Bombay, the only position available is this writer. So she's going to take Bombay back. But even then, I have to consent to her nepotism, and so I'm going to get a couple promises from her. Even though that feels silly, that is how it works. And then we've got this governor position, which a part of me feels like... Actually, we're not going to be able to fill it. Can we fill it? Consider writers and officers. Actually, I actually magically get that position. I don't know if I want it, though. I'm scared of the elephant. Fair enough. Okay, well, hiring the governor, she would consider writers. There's no writers in Bombay. She doesn't have any officers, so surprisingly, she's actually going to give me this position, which is fine, I think. It's going to be some extra money. I might be able to do something good with it. I'm fine with this. Let's move on to chairman. So we know because she is the chairman, we are going to start with a new AI card flip. Bloop. And we see here, we're going to go off of fitted ships, which is a lot less than it was because 2 of our ships died. So we have 1 singular fitted ship, which means we're going to move to Foxy because we have 0 to 5 fitted ships. And the Foxy chairman wants to take a debt for each sea zone with less than 2 ships. Hey, that's all of them. So she wants to do 1, 2, 3 debt, which is pretty great. That's going to put us to $18. I think we need that. I think we need that a lot. The Foxy Crown climate is actually a pretty good one because she's all about like shipping and like efficiency with that, I believe. So this might actually work out okay. But we need to make sure that we have enough money in all of the other positions. So let's take a quick look here. What is the Fox going to do? She's going to put $5 to shipping for each presidency with a sea zone with less than 2 ships. That's all of them. She's going to put 15 of our $18 into shipping. And then she's going to put $4 to a crown presidency with the most ships, $3 to director of trade, and $1 to presidency with a crown writer. That's too much money. So I think what I'm going to have to do is I'm gonna definitely have to spend a promise to get some more money into Madras. The problem is these other presidencies aren't going to have much money, if any. Do I convince? It's 2 promises to have the Fox take more debt. I don't think I do. I think we're going to stick with this. And before we start allocating, I'm going to say, give me 3. I think I can work with that. I think I can just work with the 4. It's not the best, but I think, you know what? I'm gonna, thinking if I want to spend another promise to allocate. Like, I should, yeah, okay. I'm gonna spend another promise. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna give her at least some cash in Bengal. But then she is literally gonna drop the rest of this money into shipping, which we're at 12. Okay. Excuse me. Okay. Let's screw it. Let's do it. So $5 to shipping for each presidency. We don't have 15, but she'll put all 12. And that's the chairman. So we're going on to the director of trade. She can't do a special envoy, but she can definitely do some transfers, which are lame. President, sorry, we're Fox. So she wants to move a ship from a presidency with the fewest crown riders to a presidency with the most crown riders. So she wants to move one of these ships into Bombay. And then she's going to want to move a crown rider from a presidency with the fewest ships. That's not going to matter because she actually doesn't have crown rider out. A ship from presidency with the fewest crown riders to China. We don't have China. And a ship from presidency with the most player riders to a presidency with the least player riders. So she's basically going to use both of her transfers to move both of these ships into Bombay. And I don't want her to do that. So well, I'm going to spend the 1 promise to keep this ship here in my presidency. And then I'll let her move that one because I think I can still get things back. And then we're going to go to shipping. So for starters, the Crown is going to fit as many of their ships as possible and then player ships. So we actually have enough money to get both the Britannia and the Atlas back onto the board. So she will spend the $6 for that. Oop. And then the Fox wants to buy as many company ships as possible, and that's 1. I'd have to spend 3 cubes to have her do any other amount. So I guess it's just happening. So she's going to buy a company ship. So we fit 2 of our ships and bought a company ship, and then the Crown doesn't have any more money. If she had another buck, she would get an extra ship, which would probably have been good. And then she's going to throw all of these ships into a Crown Presidency's sea zone. And we're split here. There's 2, which means we have to go to the tiebreaker. First is Bombay. So she is going to literally throw all of these ships into Bombay. And then I can spend a cube to fit these ships into sea zones of my choice. And I think I'm going to move one to my spot. I don't want to spend my promises doing this. It's fine. I'm gonna stick with the company a little bit. We'll move that there. You're gonna be that way. Okay, military affairs. So we know she, as Fox, wants to move some things from the presidency with the fewest ships to the presidency with the most ships. So she wants to move anything that's in Bengal to these two presidencies if possible. There's nothing here. So she's not going to do any kind of a transfer of pieces here. But then she does need to enlist this officer into a spot, and this is going to be assigned to the presidency with the most ships, and then a presidency with a crown as governor, and then a crown presidency, and then a presidency that creates a crown majority, and then a presidency that creates a crown equality, and a presidency that does not lose a crown majority, and a presidency with a crown as commander, and we go on from there. Well, the presidency with the most ships is tied here between Bombay and Bengal. We know that the tiebreaker is Bombay, so she's going to throw this dude up into Bombay. Easy enough. Bombay commander is going to act first, and Bombay commander, if the Crown's army strength is 3+, they will attempt to purchase the cheapest affordable local alliance. The cheapest affordable is the Sikhs for $3. They've got $3. The Crown president's going to say, go for it, bro. So there we go. And then the want to do presidency's home region if not company controlled, then any regions not company controlled and adjacent to company controlled regions associated with this presidency. So basically all of these, like, we're here, all of these are available at this point for them to do a deploy action in because we're adjacent, right? So we are going to have to go to the AI card and see what comes first. And we'll see that Hyderabad is the very first on the list. So she's actually looking at maybe we can take over Hyderabad, which I guess is fine. I unfortunately don't have a horse in this race, so she's just going to kind of do whatever she wants to do. So it is decided. She's going to go for Hyderabad. As the Fox, she wants to be able to roll 4 dice in a non-company controlled region, and she will drop local alliances first. Then Crown Riders, she's at 3. This is rolling 2 dice. She needs to roll this. This is 4. That would allow her 3 dice. Crown wants 4. So she drops this other regiment. So we have 2, 3, 4, 5. Minus 1 is 4. We will roll 4 dice to take over Hyderabad. And it works. Hyderabad is now taken over by the company. We can grab the governor of Hyderabad here. Oh, I totally forgot that I'm actually the governor, and based on the president operations, the governor acts first. But that's okay. We'll finish the commander here, and then I'll take my governor role. We'll move on. So she was successful. This was 1 tower level, which is $4 plus the 7 for loot. So that's $11 total that's being split between these guys. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's how that'll play out. So she made some good money off that. And then she gets a trophy. I'm not feeling great about this game. This is, I think, not going to work in my favor in any way, shape, or form. All right, so commander, or governor, sorry. So I get 3 dice. That's too many. All right, I got 1. Well, I'm going to look ahead here. What is the amount that the Fox wants to trade with? 4. I could do some taxing, even though it would put unrest. I could do some taxing enough to get the president to be able to trade. I'm wondering if I should. I think I'm going to... Well, I mean, we're kind of screwed either way, I guess, because... Yeah, screw it. So we're gonna tax, and then I'm gonna roll again. Please be good to me. Wow, very good to me. All right, cool. We are gonna tax again, and then that is gonna put an unrest in the region because we're being a little too harsh. Then we're gonna move over to Madras. I don't have anything to do as a commander. Let's just roll all 4 dice to get into Hyderabad. That's gonna give us 3 dice to roll. Please be good to me. That's 3. I realize that I skipped Bombay, and I will undo that in just a second. That's my bad. That's my bad. So we got $12 for the company. I get 1, 2, 3 for those successful trades. Let's do this real quick. So she, as president, wants to roll 4 dice. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then if there are additional funds, the crown will also always spend up to an additional £3 from the treasury. So she's actually going to spend all of that, which is fine, I suppose. Yeah, I still needed to do that tax for that to work out. So, oh well. She'll roll 5 dice, and she is good. She doesn't have any riders, so this will just be generic. It's another $7 for the company. And she's going to get $2 for that trade. I already did my thing. Spent all of my money. We're good. We're moving on to Bengal. Nothing to do here in Bengal. She's going to roll. We know that she wants to be able to roll at least 4. I'm going to do it. I'm going to give you my one promise to move her requirement down to 3. And she will spend all 3 to roll. And it's good. So that is $6 to the company. She gets a bonus. I get a bonus. Feeling a little bit better here. This is a better round. We're skipping China. We're going to bonuses. She's going to get $3. I'm going to get $1. And we'll go to revenue. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, $13. So we're going to go 10, 11, 12, 13 puts us at 12. We check standing. Guys, we met standing. We're good. We're not going anywhere. Let's take a look at revenue. The Fox will want to pay out 1 dividend and then another as long as they have 4 left. And we currently have 5 total share pieces, which means they can pay out. They're going to do it a couple times, aren't they? No, they'll only do 1. Well, let's do the 1 to start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 to me. I can't quite argue. And then she would do 1 more if she can leave at least 4 in the family treasury. She's got 7, and she would be spending 5, so that would be 2 left. She's not going to actually do that next dividend. So yay, we got money, but sad because it was short enough that we are not going to be able to increase based off of our expectations. Events in India. We don't like the big scary 4. Let's take a look. Resolving crisis +1. All right, well, fair enough. So this is going to be a rebellion against the company. And we unfortunately, we can actually we have this handy dandy player aid now. We can see that attacks on the company, or rebellions basically, are going to be the attacker plus the crisis modifier. And then, yeah, basically, anyway, it's bad. We're we're having a rebellion. Well, unfortunately, it's a 1 plus the 1. We can't exhaust enough to stop this. So we are going to lose all of this, which is sad for me because I'm going to lose my governor. She's going to lose a trophy. So sad. She is going to have to... She's going to lose her commander and actually needs to roll for both of those to see if they are out. They're good. I realized that in the initial couple invasions, I never rolled for the officers to see if they rolled 6s to be kicked out. That's a rule I continually forget, and I apologize for that. I am going to lose Governor of Bombay. And then we restore with restore local authority, close all orders. Yeah, cool. Boop, boop. Way to go, elephant. So now the elephant's going to march to Punjab. And, oops, it's going to be looking to remove itself from the grasps of Delhi. And then we're going to have Taller in Madras. Third, Windfall in Mysore. We don't have anything in Mysore. Bruh. All right. And then last but not least, Peace in Punjab. This is going to open up this order. This is going to make this taller. This is going to make this taller. And then the elephant is going to move, but it wants to move to Punjab, so it's going to stay and continue to face Delhi. And that is the events in India. We go to Parliament. We know that the Crown is still PM, so we need to play the climate shift game. And our current standing is 0, 1, 2, 3, so we're at 3 as far as this is concerned. 1 success and all 4s. That's nuts. So again, as far as the climate shift goes, if the number of successes are greater than or equal to our standing, which is 3, we would shift it to the right. We got 1, so that's not going to happen. And then if we had the number of failures less than company standing, which would be 3, we would shift it to the left. But we didn't get any failures. We got a bunch of 4s. So we're going to stay Foxy again, which is cool, I suppose. And then we know that she is going to want to draw the second law here. I don't have any promises. I can't influence anything at this point, so we're going to just go with it. Oh, looks like the public demands impeachment, so we're not going to continue to draw. This is what's going to happen. So basically, public demands impeachment. The Crown will always be voting for it, and if the Crown is the Prime Minister, she's going to select the first player office from left to right on the ribbon, and if they're all the Crown, then random. I unfortunately have President Madras, so she's picking my president, and if this law passes, I am going to lose that position, and I'm not going to even be able to retire him. I already lost my governor. If this fails, the company standing falls a space. Both of these are bad. Am I really going to... I don't see how I can win this game. This is rough. So first, let's look at the power. The power policy here. We're either going to be going to workshops or shares. So once again, we have to compare these two. So we look at the workshops. She has 1, I have 0. So that's a value of 1. Let's look at shares. She has 4, I have 1, that's a value of 3. That is a higher value. So she is going to want to move the policy marker to shares, which is basically going to undo what she had done last time, but that's fine. So if this passes, I lose my 1 solid position in the company, my 1 ability to retire, having a decent amount of money, and the shares go back up in power. I'm screwed. I am super screwed. And then because she's for this, we know that what is it? She got 16 bucks, so she's gonna get 4+ votes on this already. So this starts at a +1. 1, 2, 3, 4. She's going to 4, and then we know she's got 2, 3, 4 votes here. So I so really, like, do I want to spend all of my money to stop this? See, this is really a good question. So we got to consider a couple things. So I have one vote that could move it down to an 8, and then I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 of my monies. But there's a couple perks to this. One is I gain 2 power and become the prime minister. The other is there something we can do here? Because I would get to move the policy marker. I could tax her. She would get taxed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That would put her down to $10. So I lose $9. She would lose $10. The prime minister, a couple power, and then I maybe don't have to fight this battle next turn, next parliament. I'm going to do it. I'm going to shift this into failure. And I'm going to move this policy marker to tax. And I guess I do lose $1 for this window. I lose 2. I forgot I had a luxury. I didn't think about it. It's my bad. I'm going to stick with this plan because I feel like I need to start Hail Marrying Henry. Anyway, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. She goes down to 10. And I now am the prime minister and am still very badly losing the power race for so many reasons. It's no good. All right, we go to Upkeep and Refresh. So we will bring all of these pieces back. And then she is going to have to spend $2 for her upkeep. And I don't have any retirees, so sad. All right, move on to 3. Boop. And we're going to roll for retirements. Oh wait, I lost. No, I didn't lose as president. Oh, but because this law failed, the company standing falls once. Okay. Sorry, there's a lot to consider when you're playing solo. Anyway, what do we do? Okay, my dude's chilling. Chairman, surprisingly, staying intact. Wow, that actually, okay, fair enough. You're tired. Director of Trade, gone. President of Bengal, gone. Bombay, tired. Fair enough. All right, so we lost Director of Trade, Bombay President again. I still don't have any retirements. I'm sad. I'm dying, people. I do have enough money to buy 2 luxuries. Is this really the game I'm going to be playing? Man, this sucks. Okay, well, here we are. So we got to look at half of her money is 4. So she is going to retire 1 person here for 2 victory points. And then she's only got $4. She's not going to retire anybody. She's got 1 left, but half of this would be 2. She's never going to retire to that spot, and she's not going to spend all of her money right now on this. So this dude's just going to go back into the supply. She's not going to retire another person. She is the only one that gets to pick from the London display, and for the card, she's going to pick this mysterious blackmail card, which is just probably going to be more power that goes against me. And then we got some new London displays going down. Moving on to the family phase. Whew. So, we only have 3 vacant offices. However, this is a vacant presidency without a crown writer. So as you can see in the bold here, that's above the family action order, if the crown, sorry, if there's a presidential vacancy with no crown writer, they'll first use a free action to enlist a writer in that presidency. So free action, she's going to throw down. Then she's going to have her 2 actions as Fox. She's going to buy a shipyard and enlist an officer. Really going hard on these. And then I think I'm going to stick to my luxury game because this isn't working. So I'm going to spend $8 to... Oh, did I just throw that into my hand? My bad. I'm gonna do it to buy 4 victory points, basically. It's not much, but it's something. What sucks is I'm not gonna get any income or anything off these. Like, maybe should have pivoted to ships or something, but it's fine. This is just, we're gonna see how it works out. And now we're gonna go to hiring. Director of Trade is chosen by the chairman. She's going to consider any office except governors or the chairman. And if there weren't any, she would do writers. At this point, because of the Director of Trade, we're going to look at the arrow. We know that she's going to go clockwise, so she's just going to go down the list. Shipping is going to become the new Director of Trade. Move the fatigue. And then the shipping position would go to writers. And this is the only writer that she has that is hers, so she's going to become Director of Shipping again. I realized that in both of these cases, I consented to nepotism because I had to. So I'm going to get all of these because when the Crown is hiring, she'll always hire her own family, and you have to give consent for nepotism, and you get 2 cubes for that. President of Bengal, we know... consider writers and governors. Oh, I did the wrong president. Wasn't supposed to be Bombay. So, sorry, I have to redo here. So her free action to throw a writer would have gone here, but then that writer would have been taken still. So we're good. I didn't screw up too badly. We're all good. So she's actually going to pick me for President of Bengal. I wasn't planning on that, but that's possibly very good. And then we have the governor of Hyderabad. Consider writers and officers in this presidency, and that is, we don't have any writers, but we do have officers, and she's of course going to pick herself. And I still get this, even though there's no other options. Ricky Royal says so, and I'm not gonna debate it because I desperately need cubes. All right, let's move on to chairman. We know that before we act, we're going to flip a new AI card. Let's see what is our climate now. Total company shares is 5. We're going to go bullish. Bullish typically is a pretty good crown climate. She gets things done properly. So the bull crown wants to take a debt for each presidency with an open home port. That's only going to be 2 because we have Madras and Bengal, but we lost Bombay. So 1, 2. We had $7 left over though, so that's pretty good. We're at 17. That's not too bad, but we are very poor. All of these offices have nothing going on with them. But I'm going to leave it be. I'm going to let it go. I think that this will work out because the bull is typically pretty fair about allocating funds. So she's going to put $4 into each presidency with an open home port, $4 to the Director of Trade, and then the rest is going to go to shipping. So that's $8 that will go into presidencies, and then $12 to the Director of Trade leaves 5 for shipping, which would be 6. I think that this might work out. Okay, so $4 to each that's got an open port. Those happen to be mine. How wonderful is that? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. She's going to throw $4 to the Director of Trade. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the rest is going to go into shipping. That's $5. And then we go to the Director of Trade. Director of Trade is going to want to do a special envoy. I don't think I'm going to argue, but so she wants to do Hyderabad. We've already got Hyderabad. She wants to do Delhi. I don't know if I care about Delhi because like none of these orders are connected to anything else that's open. So I think I need to, I am going to spend a promise cube to target a specific order. And I think, what do I want to do here? Actually, that's a good question. Good question. Do I want to open up? Maybe. Yeah, let's have her target Madras. Yeah. So she's going to spend $3 to do the envoy. It works out. Madras is open. So that could be good. And then we got 2 transfers. Crown Rider from Presidency with the shortest open trade route to Presidency with the longest. There's no Crown Riders, so we can skip that. A ship from a Presidency with the shortest trade route to the Presidency with the longest. So at the moment, this has the shortest trade route. This has a trade route of 1, 2. This has a trade route of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is the longest trade route. This is the shortest. So she wants to move a ship from a presidency with the shortest trade route to the ship with the longest. I'm all for it. Somehow things shifted in my favor all of a sudden. I'm for it. And then a player writer from a presidency with the longest open trade route to a presidency with the shortest. So then she wants to move my 1 writer here. I'm going to spend a promise to say no. Don't do that. That's so mean. Why do you got to be so mean? All right, shipping. She is going to... do we have ships to fit? We don't. She's not going to buy any company ships, so she's just going to spend all 6 money on extra ships, which I'm for. And then she is going to put them in the presidency's C-zone with the longest open trade route, with priority going to a crown presidency. It's not happening. So I suddenly have all of the ships. And I can actually fill almost all these. So I'm gonna spend 1 to move one of these ships over to Bengal. So then these 2 can be filled, and then I have 5 ships, and I have 5 orders. I could be making so much money in a minute. This is gonna be crazy. Okay. The problem is I don't have a lot of cash here, and I don't have a governor on my side. All right, let's move on to military affairs. So, player presidency to a crown presidency. I don't have anything in these presidencies that are mine, so there's nothing for her to move. And then we do have this officer, and she wants to do a crown presidency. Well, that's very simple. We don't even have to go down this whole long list. First thing is assign an officer to a crown presidency. Boom. Thank you, Bull. I'm fine with it. I've given up caring. So we're just going to move on. All right, so she's going to have her governor go first. We have the governor of Hyderabad, who's going to have 3 dice. And with the governor, the crown will repeat the administer action as many times as possible, decreasing the dice pool after each roll, as long as they can roll at least 3 dice each time, which means she's just going to do this once. Great. Fair enough. She gets $1, and then the crown will do as the bull attacks, adding funds to the crown presidency first and then the company. So she's actually going to give a couple bucks to Bombay. But that's it, because now she would have to roll 2 dice, but she wants to roll 3, so the governor's done. So now we're going to move on to Bombay, which I totally forgot this shifted into a commander position by default. So let's see. What is the commander going to do? Commander will not purchase a local alliance. Great. Easy peasy. Wants to do deploy action in the home region. The close orders, that's this guy. Oh, you know what? This unrest was supposed to go away. So is she going to? No, because she wants to be able to roll 6 dice. Bull wants to roll 6 dice in a non-company controlled region. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a strength of 1. That's not happening. I think Bombay is lost to us, and I'm fine with it. So we're going to move on. Is the president going to roll? Pretty sure not. Oh, actually, look at that trade. The crown will spend the necessary funds to roll exactly X dice to trade, where X is given by this table. 2. If there was an open order, the bull actually would roll. That's the lowest. Otherwise, yeah, 3, 4, 5, 6. Very cool. Moving on to me. Nothing happening there. We've got a lot happening here. And here's the problem. I want to go big, but I have to hit 2 regions. That's going to allow me to roll 2 dice. I did not foresee this. I kind of feel like I should do it. I could get $6 off of this personally. I'm going to do it. I'm going to roll. We're going to trade for all of these. I'm spending $4. I'm going to lose 1, 2 dice because I'm going into these 2 regions. I'm rolling 2 dice. Oh, all right. That's amazing. All right, so what do we got here? We got so we got 10, 17, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, $25 in a single trade. How amazing is that? Wow, that feels good. Oh, actually, I got a dude. So that's 5 and then 6 for me. That was pretty amazing. And then we're going to go off to Bengal. And I think I'm just going to roll 3 dice here. Please be good to me too. We're good. There's no writers here, so. And then this is another $11 to the company. I am on fire, and that's another $2 for me. We go to bonuses. Oh, I screwed up so bad. They would have fit their ship in shipping, which would have left. So there was $6. They would have only had 3 left, which actually would have only gotten us 1 ship. Wow, that changes so much. I screwed that up so bad. I didn't fit that ship. Can I even possibly retcon it? I feel bad because that's actually huge, because that would have been $3. We would have had 3 left. The $2 would have only gotten us 1 of these ships, which would have just been here, and then I would have had a trade of 3. I think we can fix it. That's fine. What we'll do is I apologize for everyone who was trying to learn and I'm screwing it up. What we're going to do is we're going to fix this, and we're going to say that I only did a trade of 4 here, and we'll undo this $3. Why is the company balance marker gone? Did I move it somewhere that I shouldn't have? Anyway, we were at 36. Now we're at 33. So we're okay. I fixed it. My bad. I apologize. I screwed that up. Revenue 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 17. So 33, 23, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we look at company standing, which is 6. We are nailing it, so we're not going down. And then is the bull going to throw? Yeah, the bull is going to pay out until there's nothing left. So we've got 5. The bull's going to pay out 3 dividends. And we'll have $1 left over. That seems not great. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna spend 2 of my promises, and I'll let. Do I even want him to pay out any? I mean, another $10 is not bad though. I'll let him pay out 1. I'll let him pay out 1. Yeah. Yeah. I know I could let him pay out though and move expectations up. But I'm not really. No, I think it's better that we keep the money. For right now. I think it's better that we keep the money. Yeah. We're going to keep it. All right. So let's move on to events in India. Big scary die. Wow, that was so fancy. We're going to get storms in the west. This is not my ship, so I don't really care that much about it. It's fine. And then we're going to have 2 events. Bloop. Turmoil in Delhi. We're going to close the northernmost. Good thing that was open, I think, thanks to the peace. And then our second's going to be turmoil in Bombay. Ooh, so that's actually going to cascade. That's pretty lame. So this is going to cascade to here. And then it would cascade to here. It can't. This would cascade to here. It can't. This would cascade to here. This gets closed. And then this would cascade to here. Why, India? Okay, Parliament meets. Oh, I see. So we were on 11. Somehow, I don't even know what this marker is. I'm losing my mind. I'm sorry. All right, Parliament meets. I am the chairman now. So, because I'm the prime minister. I'm sorry. So if I just realized too that the crown is supposed to pick a law and then change climate if she's the prime minister. So I screwed up the ordering there, and I do apologize. But we're gonna do the shift here. Wow. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's definitely shifting to the right. And then if fails less than company standing, it's going to move to the left. So this is, it moved right and then left. Fair enough. We're sticking to bull. Envoy to China. I don't know if I care about Envoy to China right now. Army spending? I know I should probably try to open up India. I'm gonna flip one more. Xamater taxes. I don't care for any of these really. I don't have writers or anything to like really place into China if I wanted to. So let's look at. So we have ship, share, and tax as available policies. Let's see if we did ship, it would be a power. If we did share, I could tax. And then it was just tax in general, right? Yeah. Or tax shares or tax windows. Well, let's see. So we're still bullish. So let's see. What does the bull think about Envoy to China? The bull is against Envoy to China. What about army spending? The bull is against army spending. What about Xamander taxes? If the crown has the most governors, she does. So she'd be for that. Screw it. Let's do it, because I need the power as well. So I'm proposing Xamander taxes, which is going to start at -2. And the policy marker is going to be on shares. And I am absolutely going to tax the shares. Even though I'll lose $1. I think that's the right call. And since the crown is 4 Xamander taxes, as she has the most governors, which is 1. I have none. She's gonna be all in. So she has $7. She's gonna get +2 votes. 1, 2, and then 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more votes. And I don't really have to do anything. The law passes. Za for that. Man, I screwed up that company debt now costs 2 during expenses, didn't I? Which would be another $12 that we would lose. I'm sorry, I've been screwing this game up so hard. Playing solo can be rough when you have to remember all of these little things. And company shares are worth more. Totally forgot about this. I'm so bad at this game. So each company debt now costs 2 during expenses. So that's another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that would have been spent. So we're fine. I'm correcting. We're good. I hope you weren't yelling at me too hard before, like an hour ago. Okay, so this passes. I get a little token saying that I passed the law. We're going to tax on shares. That's going to be $4 for her and $1 for me. And then we're going to go to upkeep. And she actually has to spend her last $3 on her upkeep for these 3 ladies here. So she's got 0. So that's actually great, because she could retire everybody. Like everybody could become a pensioner, and she's not going to be able to throw anybody in a castle or anything. So that's pretty great. We're going to get rid of this. These closed orders. My rider comes home. Nobody here was exhausted. We're moving on into the penultimate round. I'm honestly surprised that we're still going right now. All right, family or London season. Let's roll. So chairman gets a fatigue. Shipping's out. This dude's cool. Governor's out. This dude's not cool. This dude's not cool. So this, yeah, see, this is great. So we lost shipping. We lost Hyderabad governor. We lost the director of trade. And we lost military affairs. Those are 4 retirements that she would have, and none of it is happening. I am losing my president of Madras, which might work out okay. All right, crazy. So she doesn't have any money. So literally all of these pensioners, sorry guys, the crown does not care about you. This might be the only retirement I get this game. And here's the real question, actually, for me. Is my opportunity marker is currently on the luxuries, and I have enough money to buy the 2 luxuries that I could get here, which is 4 victory points for $8. And this is 4 victory points for $8. But there's no upkeep on luxuries. So actually, if that's the route I'm going to go, the luxuries are the better way to go, plus their power that I desperately need. So even though I finally got a retiree, I'm not going to do it. Let me reconsider real quick. What do I possibly have to gain from these dudes? You can no longer enlist writers. You may no longer purchase or own workshops. Okay, let me think here, because I could retire this. See, I'm a buck short. I don't have 2 cubes, or I could take $1 from her. So, you know what Okay. You know what I think I'm going to do? Oh, I can't do that, though. Damn. I was thinking that I could give her a fitted shipyard for 3 promises and then trade 2 of those promises for $1. But I can't do this until the company share purchasing step is complete. I can't do that during London season. Darn. I thought I could maybe fish out some extra getting that spouse. No, I gotta stick to it. It is what it is. Was it the best play? I don't know. I really don't. But here we are. All right, family season, family phase. I'm losing my mind. I haven't eaten yet today. So, the bull wants to seek shares. No money, can't do it. Wants to buy a shipyard. No money, can't do it. Wants to enlist riders instead. Great. She's actually going to enlist a rider for freebies already because we have 4 more vacant positions. So first, we have to look at when enlisting writers. The crown always gives priority to vacant presidencies with no writers. This is a vacant presidency with no writer. She's going to put a writer down. Right? And then she is going to enlist 2 writers basically as her actions. And so what she's going to do is crown presidencies with the least amount of crown writers. So her next writer is going to go here. And then presidencies with the least amount of crown writers, including 0. So she just evenly distributed herself out. Easy enough. I'm going to stick to my plan. I'm going to double down on my luxuries. I'm going to do it. This is dumb, but I'm going to do it. I've never seen something like this. This is madness, but 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at this. I'm possibly catching up. Wow. Okay. This is nutsos. We're going to hiring. So the chairman is going to elect the director of trade, consider any writers or any office except governor on the chair or the chairman. She's going to promote this dude President of Bombay, who had a fatigue. So Director of Trade is the same person. Manager of Shipping, consider writers. She is going to pick her Madras writer. Military Affairs, commander, consider commanders. She's got a commander. She's going to pick her own commander. That will shift down, but we'll do it later. How many cubes am I supposed to have at this point? We've done... we did Director of Trade. We did Manager of Shipping. And we did Military Affairs. This is all nepotism. President of Bombay, gonna be her. Then we have President of Madras, which is consider writers and governors associated with the presidency of Madras. Oh, that's me. So I'm just gonna get that. And then running out of space here. And then we have the governor of Hyderabad, consider writers and officers in this presidency. I guess actually she's going to take Hyderabad. And I'm going to look at this. I have so many of her cubes now. And I know that sounds weird because technically a lot of this there wasn't an option and it was only her, right? And like, what are you going to do? But I consented to that nepotism, so I'm going to get all those cubes. But now she's only got one, so I don't actually have to consent to nepotism moving forward. But we're good. We're moving on from hiring. So once again, chairman. We're going to flip new AI card. Presidencies with control of a region. We've only got one. So she's going to Peacock. Could be troublesome. Could be troublesome. And then the chairman for Peacock, she's not going to seek debt. And I'd have to spend 3 cubes to convince her to seek debt. I'm going to do it. Please seek 1 debt at least. I don't know if... Screw it. Oh, I can't ask her to do more than 1 more. Damn. Okay. So, Crown Peacock wants to put $5 to each presidency where the Crown is commander or has a majority of officers. She wants to... Oh, damn. She doesn't have any. $2 to each presidency where Crown has a governor. Okay. 1, 2. And then the rest is going to go to shipping. That's not happening. I'm paying this to do 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to pay another one to do 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to pay my last one to put these last $2 into Madras. That's what we're going to do. We're going to go over to Director of Trade. Not going to envoy, but is going to do some transfers. A crown writer from a player presidency to a crown presidency. That's 1. And then a ship from a presidency with the fewest crown riders to a presidency with the most crown riders. So it'd be a tie between these two. This says Bengal. She wants to move this ship over to here. And I'm going to say no. You're not allowed. Shipping, ain't doing nothing. Military affairs, probably not doing much. Presidency where a player is commander to a presidency where crown is commander. I mean, there's just, yeah, there's nothing swapping around here. We don't have any officers. There's no commander. There is a governor of Hyderabad, so the governor of Hyderabad is going to go first. And the crown governor is going to roll as long as they have 1. So she's just going to go all the way. That's 1. And the crown is always going to commission a regiment. Okay. That's another. And then let's see if maybe we can make her lose her governor. Nope, but it failed. And I do remember, because it was amateur taxes, oh, she's actually supposed to have another die. Failed administer actions, place 2 unrest. See, I'm getting better. So she technically gets to roll 1 more. That's the catastrophic failure I was waiting for. And then she can't trade because she don't got no open orders. So we go to me, and I'm going to do the same thing I'd done before. I'm going to exhaust all of these, though, so I can roll 4 dice and not have such a sketchy roll like last time. Wow, that was scary. Okay. Dude. All right, so again, this is 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. And that's 4 for me. We go to here, and I will roll, I'll just do 3 for this one roll here. We got it. It's another $6. It's 28. Another $1 for me. And then bonuses, 1, 2, 3, 4. I get 1. Revenue, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 18. Dang. We do meet expectations, though. Oh, no. Wait, our debt is another 7. Crap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We do not meet expectations. We fall. And the peacock is not going to be able to pay out dividends at all. So we move on. Oof. Okay. We could lose the game right now if Hyderabad gets attacked. I think I'd be okay with this, actually. Maybe I shouldn't have. Maybe I should have looked ahead. Okay, then. A leader event in Madras. Very unnecessary. That's 1. This is 2. We're going to shuffle. So we're going to move the elephant to Bombay. And it's going to go towards Circle. It's going to go towards Maratha. I'm fine with that. And then this is the last one. Windfall in Punjab. Thank you. Not helpful. Wow. The company is still standing. This could be good. Parliament meets. Let's do our shift. Sorry. We have 1, 2, 3. We have 1, 2. Actually, we have 4. So once again, if the successes is greater than or equal to the company standing, we're going to shift up to the right. We can't. And then we did roll. Actually, our company standing is at 1. And we did not roll less. So yeah, we're just going to stay peacock. Fair enough. What do we got? Calico Axe. $2 for each. Board of Control. I know that the AI is not going to go for this unless she's the prime minister. Oh, no, she's always for. If the crown is prime minister, they will always try to remove a player from office. Interesting. And well, I don't really need to shift power at all, is the thing. What's the third one? Writer privileges. I think Peacock likes writer privileges, right? If the crown has most writers currently on orders. Dang, that's probably the one I would have gone for, but she's going to be all mean about it. Let's do... I don't want her to collect extra workshops if the company is going to fail. So I'm proposing the Board of Control and policy marker can either move to shipping or workshops. I don't want shipping to outdo this, so I guess I'm going to do workshops. And this starts at 0. And the crown has $6, so the crown is going to get 1 vote plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it passes. I don't need to worry about voting. So I get another power. And this will happen. And shipping and workshop power is going to change. All right. And then we do upkeep. She owes $3. Let's do clean up here real quick. I believe that's it. We are going into the final round. I don't think the company is going to succeed. In fact, I can pretty much guarantee it won't by just not caring about what happens when it comes to trades. And I think that might put me in a good position because the company failing in the last round isn't going to deduct me too much because the solo player gets a VP reduction for if the company fails. I don't have too much to lose as far as shares. In fact, I might be able to pawn off this share to her. And she has a lot to lose. We're going to figure it out. We're going to figure it out. Let's do London season. And as annoying as it is, even though she's not going to be able to retire anybody, let's see who dies. Chairman, shipping, and director of trade. Chairman, shipping, and director of trade. Oof. I lose my president of Bengal, which I guess could be worse. I don't think I'm going to retire him, though. I need another dollar. Or am I? Okay, well, here we are. Boop. She doesn't have any money, so she's not going to retire these folks. I am considering still just going down the luxury hole, but I'm a buck short. So what I'm thinking is I might just spend the $2 to retire here. And what is this? I don't care about that. I'm just going to take the Rotten Borough. I think I might be securing my power award here, which at this point, ending on round 5, is going to give me 5 points. So that could be good. And then we're not going to refill the London display because there's not going to be another display. Family action. The bull, well, first of all, we have 5 million available vacancies. She's going to go here because it's an open spot. And then the bull is going to want to seek a share. She can. She shall. And then she wants to buy a shipyard. She cannot. She's a buck short, so she's then going to do her second action as enlisting a writer. And we know that she's going to put it there. And that is the family phase. So now we go to hiring. Chairman. Well, this bumps in. And actually, after that bump, once the company share purchase step is complete, I can give, I'm doing it. I'm going to give her my 3 promises to give her my share. Because I'm confident I can make this company fail, and this is basically going to secure me the victory, I think. Things took a sharp turn. I think I can turn this around. Okay, so she's chairman. Yippee-ki-yay. Director of Trade is going to take military affairs. Which gives me peoples. Shipping is going to be considering writers. She's going to pick from Bombay. I'm going to get cubes for that nepotism. Military affairs is actually consider commanders. She's going to consider my commander, and she's going to take my Bengal commander. I don't really care, but thanks, I suppose. President of Bengal. It's going to be her. Governor of Hyderabad. There's no position, so that's just not going to get filled. It is what it is. Moving on to chairman. Company expectations, we know, are at 4, so she's going to become bearish. And then I kind of don't care what happens at this point. So the bear wants to get debt for presidency where crown is commander or has majority of total army pieces in box. It's not happening, so she's not going to seek debt. And I'm going to say, fine. I don't want you to seek debt. Go for it. Director of Trade. Sorry, we're bear. Director of Trade can't special envoy, but will move a ship from a player presidency to a crown presidency. We're going to go on the tiebreak, which is Bengal. So she's going to take a ship over to Bengal. You just choose whatever ship. And then a crown writer from a presidency with the fewest ships to a presidency with the most. That's not going to happen. A crown writer from a player presidency to a crown presidency. It's not going to happen. So that's it. It's just the one. Nothing's happening in shipping. Military affairs, I don't care. I'm not going to do anything. I guess I'll move these guys. All right, president. Bear wants to be able to roll. Sorry. 5 dice. So, well, it can't trade, so it doesn't matter. I can't trade. I don't have any money. Wants to be able to roll. Doesn't have any money. We go to bonuses. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I get 1. We go to revenue. We have to take out emergency expenses because we have no money. I guess technically that $3 would have been allocated to each presidency where majority, $2 each presidency where a crown as a governor, $2 each presidency where a crown as a writer. This actually would have gone here. So I actually, or the 3, it would have done $2 to that, and then the rest would have gone into shipping. I could have traded off of this, but I skip it. I'm not going to do it. Revenue phase, we don't have enough money. We have to take out emergency loans. Company standing, hits failing, we're done. Whew. So let's take a look at the power reward and see if I eked it out for another 5 points. I think I might have. So I have, well, each of the luxuries is 2. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15, 16. Safe bet. Safe bet. This is 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I win the power award. And the power award is only awarded to first place in the solo game. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the crown is not going to get that 2 that she would get. We're going to score shares in workshops. She has a workshop, so she's going to get a point for the company failing. But she has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She's going to lose 10 victory points for all of her shares. This was crazy. And then we need to look at the end here at the very bottom. Sorry, it's a little hard to see. You can see that depending on the turn that the company fails on, I'm going to lose a certain amount of points. And since the company failed on round 5 of the 1710 scenario, I'm going to lose 1 point for that. And then we don't have any final retirements, but we do have to see what the company failure is. Shareholders blameless. Treat the value of company shares as if the company had been successful. Oh no. Oh no. I'll lose so many then. That destroyed me because she doesn't lose the 10. In fact, she gets 10. She wraps to 23. Dude. Oh. I can't believe that draw. Are you kidding me? Literally anything else. I can't believe that. Well, I lost. That's some ups and downs there. That was just a rough game to play from the start. I felt confident I was going to lose, and then somehow there was a crazy shift where I was in control of presidencies and I had a lot of money, and going hard on the luxuries seemed good. The presidencies were being good to me. I thought I could game it, and I failed. Okay, well, hopefully that was somewhat fun to watch. And hopefully it gives you an idea of the flow of the game when playing against the Crown AI. I know that there were some goofs there, things that I forgot, corrections that I had to make after the fact. I apologize for that. There is a lot of little things happening in this game. And if you're not paying attention to every single step as you go through and remembering which laws are in play and all that, there are things that can be really easy to overlook. And this is why John Company works best as a multiplayer game, because that overhead gets distributed amongst all the players and it makes it way easier. The solo game can be a little bit overwhelming, but you can play it pretty quickly once you have a feel for how things go. You just have to remember all these little things. You have to remember the little areas where, oh, I could actually pay here to do this, pay there to do that. Sometimes you'll forget to do those things, but it's a solo game. So do what you got to do. Course correct, self-correct goofs. If you're playing by yourself, nobody knows. So it's all good. But thanks for watching. I hope that this was helpful for folks, and have a good one.